Here he is, broadcasting legend and host of 310 to Left, Tom Caron, joining us here inside the PNC Bank studio. And as always, check out Boston Has Entered the Chat on NESN's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and wherever you get your podcasts. How you doing, TC?
I'm doing well. Is this what they used to call it on NBC? Shameless crossover? Shameless crossover promotion? It's great to be here representing another podcast, Travis.
Absolutely. All right, now for the people just starting to crawl out from under that Celtics championship rock, TC, and they're getting around and getting into the Red Sox right now, they're going to see a hot team. My question to you is, what gives? I mean, in your estimation, why is this team so hot and been having a better season than many people anticipated, TC?
Well, there's a number of things, Travis. It begins with the pitching, which has been there since the start of the year. The Bailey effect is real, as they're calling it throughout Major League Baseball. Andrew Bailey, the new pitching coach, Justin Willard, the new pitching director or director of pitching, along with Craig Breslow, who himself was a pitcher here with the Red Sox on a championship team. They have really instilled a completely different philosophy with this team. They rarely throw four-seam fastballs because fastballs get hammered when you make mistakes. The other pitchers, the sweepers, the east-west movement, the sliders, the splitters, all the other things they throw, there's more of a margin for error. You'll get weaker contact, softer contact, and less damage. So it begins with the pitching. That's been there since the start. And then it continues with the hitting in June. In June, they have been one of the best offensive teams in all of baseball. And there's been a slight shift in the approach at the plate. It was a little bit of an all-or-nothing approach at the beginning of the season. Had a lot of home runs, had a lot of strikeouts, had really bad numbers with men in scoring position, especially with two outs. Over the last month, they've been doing a better job of just putting the ball in play, keeping the line moving, not trying to do too much, lowering the strikeouts. And then last but not least, they are one of the best base running teams in all of baseball. They haven't led the American League in stolen bases since the 30s. And even I wasn't doing pregame show back then. And right now they have more stolen bases than any team in the American League. The thing they will need to tighten up is the defense. It's been sloppy on and off throughout the season, and that has been one continuing issue.
TC, one thing I find myself doing when I watch Red Sox games is the Jarren Duran celebration there. First of all, tell me, what is that? Secondly, is he going to be an all-star? Because I'm hearing a groundswell for this.
Well, there's no doubt he's going to be an all-star. He's not going to get voted to the all-star team, and that tells you everything you need to know about where this team is in the court of popular opinion, right?
Yeah.
You're all watching Celtics games, paying no attention to this Red Sox team, and you got a guy who's not just becoming a star, he's becoming a superstar.
Yeah.
He is literally one of the best players in baseball right now. He has a WAR that, as we speak, is higher than Juan Soto, and he's making about $36 million less this season.
Woo.
And this, I hate to, it's so anticlimactic. It should have this great story.
What is it?
It's the river monster, which
Oh.
comes from them playing poker, and you go to the river, and if you hit on the river, they go, yeah, and now they go, yeah. So it's kind of wholesome in a poker playing way. It's just, it's such a thing. I wish the better story is the Boston Marathon medal they wear after a home run.
Yeah.
Because that is from Alex Cora and Pete Fatsi, the hitting coach, running the 5K the morning of the game here, the couple days before the marathon. They ran the BAA 5K, got their medals, gave them out in the clubhouse. Now whoever hits a home run gets one of the medals. That's organic. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that one a lot better. Let me ask you about Connor Wong, because I look at him as really the last man standing, quite frankly, TC, from the Mookie Betts trade. He's really standing out this season. What do you sort of attribute to that, A? And B, there's a lot of talk about him possibly changing positions down the line, leaving the catcher position to make way for the young prospect. Do you see that happening as well in terms of Connor Wong?
It certainly could, because a couple of reasons. Kyle Teel, as you said, is the best catching prospect in all of baseball, and he is rising the charts quickly. He's in Double-A Portland as we speak.
Okay.
Probably going to be in Triple-A Worcester before too long. And once you're in Worcester, you're just a knock on the door away from coming to Boston. The other thing is Connor Wong was never really a catcher until late in high school. So he's not like a guy who was brought up on the U10 team as a catcher, has been catching his whole life. He can play infield. He can play different positions. He's one of the fastest guys on a fast team. He's got the best sprint time or second sprint time. Real Muto in Philly might be a little bit faster, but certainly best in the American League. One of the best hitting catchers in the game. So you got to kind of figure a way to get this guy in the lineup. But it's funny because he was the guy nobody talked about when that Mookie Betts deal went down, right? Jeter Downs was going to be the prospect who someday became a great player. He was the first one gone. Verdugo was good here. I mean, he was the best defensive player last year. Hit a lot of doubles. Probably didn't have as many home runs as we expected. But he was good. Now he's doing it in New York. But I think Connor Wong, when it's all said and done, I joked with a friend in L.A. the other day. He didn't like it. I said, who did the Sox give up in that Connor Wong trade? I can't even remember. But that's not really how it played out. I like to separate it, okay? I like to say that the Red Sox got Connor Wong for David Price. And that was a great deal.
Yeah.
They got Verdugo and Jeter Downs for Mookie Betts, and that was a horrible deal.
Yeah, it's all making sense to me, TC. I love it. Now, the trade deadline, that's been a point of contention around here for a few years now. But as you see it this season, do you believe that the Sox may be buyers this time around at the trade deadline?
Too early to tell. Hate to straddle the fence for you, but it's a lot of baseball between now and the deadline. You got a month to go.
Yeah.
And as well as they have played, and as we speak, they are holding on to a playoff spot,
right?
Which nobody expected. Playoffs began today. A lot of people would be pissed off because they bought tickets to games in July and August. But if it began today, that they would be in the playoffs. So they've reached the goal halfway through, because that's where we are. We're midway through the season now. But their playoff projections, I use FanGraphs. The team has their own. Everybody has their own playoff projections. FanGraphs pretty good. They've got around 37%. That's way up. It was down like 12% a month ago.
Sure.
So they have shot way up. But that's an indication to look at, because if the internal projections say they've got a good shot to make the playoffs, they're going to add to this roster and go for it. They are. If they say they're not, then they're going to blow it up. Well, they're not going to blow it up, okay?
Yeah.
But Kenley Jansen, Chris Martin, Nick Pivetta, who's one of their best starters, and Tyler O'Neill. Those are all four guys who are free agents at the end of the year. If you don't think you're going deep this year, you have to look at trading those guys to get more.
Yeah.
But if they can put together a month here, if they can keep playing in July and hold on to one of those playoff spots, then they're not going to trade away much. I think they're going to try to make themselves better and go for it.
That's where I'm leaning. And I know you got to go here, TC. A minute left. I was going to ask you gut feel on this, because I think this team's going to continue to stay hot, quite frankly. Will they be as hot as they've been? Who the heck knows? But certainly they're contenders. Cora has them in it every night. I don't think they're going anywhere, TC.
I like what Cora said a couple days ago. He said, with this kind of speed and this kind of youth, we're not the kind of team that's going to lose 5 in a row.
Right.
Like, they're not going to just go on a total tailspin. Fast teams, good hitting teams don't do that. Good pitching teams. They got good pitching. And so, listen, I don't think they're going to be a 95-win team. But 87, 88 wins, that might get you the third wild card. And I'll tell you what, we saw it in 2021. They didn't qualify till the last day of the season when they beat Washington. Had to come from behind to do it. And they want to be in the Yankees in the wild card and going within 2 wins of a World Series. So it doesn't take much.
Wow.
We saw it last year, right? The Diamondbacks, the Rangers, nobody thought they were going to make it to the World Series. Get to the playoffs, get healthy, get hot, and you can make good things happen.
Preach. From your mouth to the baseball god's ears. Thank you, TC. Always a pleasure, my man.
Appreciate it. Listen, we were just talking with Tristan Casas, filling him in on what duck boats are all about. Telling about Jake Peavy buying a duck boat after the duck boat parade in 2013, moving a duck boat down to his ranch in Alabama. Okay, listen, we saw it last week with the Celtics. This city comes alive. I know. You know, Travis, it was the first one since you graced us with your presence at NESN.
That's right.
All right. You know, some of us have been waiting around 5.5 years. That is an eternity in Boston. All right. That is, we don't like to wait 5 years between championships. Okay?
That's right.
So,
that's right.
I tell the story all the time, right? When NESN posted a thing about it last week, I was covering a parade once, and I saw this family there early for parade, and the family shows up, and this kid says, "Hey, let's go stand where we always stand for these parades."
Wow.
And I'm like, dude. You got a usual spot to watch championship parades. Kid's like 14, you know? And I'm like, you go tell somebody in Cleveland that you've got a usual spot to watch a parade.
Right.
Go tell somebody in Detroit that you've got a place. Go tell somebody in Buffalo you got a place you like to stand for parades. And then get out of the way because they're going to punch you in the face. Okay, so that's Boston. All right? We like championships. We don't just like playoffs. We'll see what the Red Sox can do this year, but it'd be a hell of a lot of fun to see playoff baseball back at Fenway Park.